Hey, good afternoon, people. They talked about all these different things, the lies and the liars. So, in Revelation, let me just tell it to you straight up as I can. Is when that's after time. It's not the end of time. They call it the end of time. It's because we're underneath the cruel taskmaster's time. It's kind of like taking the wall clock and smashing it, throwing it away, which we talked about before. So, in this end time, they'll blame everything on the bear, which is Russia. Russia this, Russia collusion, Russian, Ukraine, Russia. So the dragon rides the bear. So the dragon is China. Blames it on Russia. Blames everything on Russia. So the enemy takes you out slowly most of the time, and he hopes you commit suicide. So what they do is they slow cook you. So they poison your food, they poison your water, they poison your air, they smoke out the skies, and a slow death. So the cancer and all these things are off the charts. And we did a video on water, which I'll refresh you on the water. Water used to be a mineral, herbal, botanical drink. That's why when you look in the lake or the river, it's aqua colored. Blue-green, green-blue. And then in the fall, what happens in the fall? The leaves fall and they get washed down in the streams and lakes and all that. So it revitalizes the creeks and the streams and all that through the nourishment from the mineral, herbal, botanicals. The leaves, the tea leaves, the tree leaves, the herb leaves. So our water's not water. Our water is over purified, and then they have to put a synthetic preservative in it. So the whole world's drinking all this bottled water, which in a lot of ways is worse than tap water because it's over processed and it has nothing in it. There's no life in it, then it has preservatives, so it's dead water. So it has no mineral, herbal, botanical, no electrolytes, no. So drink green tea, different kinds of tea. And put the little pink salt, Himalayan salt. Pink salt has 92 minerals in it. So the pink salt is pink because it has minerals in it. The clay up here, South Carolina, North Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, whatever, has all this red clay, and the red clay is minerals. So if you need to wash the red clay out of your clothes, a lot of people put vinegar in the clothes to wash the minerals out because vinegar is an acid, and vinegar will bleach out the minerals. So off the chart. So the enemy's trying to, like when I was young, they had the upside down food pyramid, and upside down because they told you to eat all the famine food. So eat tons of bread and this and this and this and go all the way down. But in reality, you're supposed to eat a high protein, low carb, with some fruits, a little bit of vegetable. Fruits and a little bit of vegetable. And the fruits, you want the highest content of enzymes. Okay, so with that said, we're being cooked. We're being unvitalized. Our immune system's gone down. Everybody is suffering from a weak immune system unless you're really diligent in taking different supplements, mineral, herbal, botanicals. If you take chlorella spirulina, if you take... make sure you get vitamin C, or always drink lemon. Put a lemon wedge in your water. Put the whole lemon wedge in your water because even in the rhymes, they has the other things that you need. So we're being slowly done away with. We're being slowly eradicated. The eradication of humanity. And the CCP wants to take over the United States of America because the United States is what keeps them at bay from taking over other countries. So the smokescreen is blaming on the bear, and Putin means bear. His name means bear. Blaming on the bear, blaming on Russia. All the while, the devil's more subtle than the beasts of the fields and birds of the air. So he's sneaky. So we're getting poisoned. So they they told you quit eating eggs, quit eating beef, quit eating pork, quit eating quit eating and eat your synthetic crap. Now they got synthetic hamburgers everywhere, and they're made in China, and they have a lot of poison chemicals in them. Everybody thinks the fake burgers are good for you, but if I want a burger, I want a burger. I want meat. Don't want a fake burger. So China's buying up tons of our meat, and they're selling us fake burgers. Fake. So since, way back when they told you don't eat butter, eat margarine, which margarine was made up of oils that are really bad for you, clog up your heart, destroy your body. Fake. You want real egg, you want real butter, you want real meat, you want real beef, you want real food. So the enemy's slowly killing us. And then, like for your immune system, they used to make a vax for immune system to boost your immune system. Now people don't realize that's what it was. So they act like, they got this armor on, this Under Armour on, by taking another shot, another shot, another shot, another shot. But then the newer stuff doesn't really boost your immune system. It actually weakens it. So they're behind a lot of the stuff, and then there's some ambulances that are running around all day long picking up dead bodies everywhere. So, and in the book of Revelation it says the enemy gets a third. People perish for lack of knowledge, so that's why we're on here trying to give knowledge, so that you don't perish. But it says the enemy gets a third, and looks like more than likely he will get a third. In the last couple of years, there's been mega death everywhere, and they're not telling the people this. They're trying to scare you into getting shot, shoot your own self, getting shot in arms and legs and whatever to do away with you. So they don't talk about it boosting your immune system. So a lot of people think, oh, I would have died if I wouldn't have got all the shots. But, no, they're not helping. A nurse from Easley, had a video on the internet. That's the next county over, Pickens County. And she had a video out that she works in the hospital. And nothing's working. People are dying. So we got to stand up for ourselves. We got to eat healthier. We got to drink healthier. My wife makes a lot of herbal teas. My daughter sells them on the, what does she call that? She has a website, Mommy Products or Mama Products. Go look on my Facebook page. And my daughter sells a lot of herbal teas that my wife makes for boosting your immune system and all that. So you can make your own. You can buy them from her. Herbal Botanical Minerals. So right now, so many lies are out there that people are taking their own lives because they just can't stand it. But you got to understand that Jesus is behind everything that's coming up good and godly. And all the lies is kind of like if you boiled up, let's say, some macaroni, and all that froth comes up to the top and it spills over. So all the lies have to come up in front of you, in your face, these bold lies, so that they can be skimmed off. So same as the dross, the Spirit of God is refiner's fire. It burns off all the dross. So unless you know these people are lies and liars, you'll go about your business, and a lot of people are going about their business because they feel like they cannot do anything against it, but you can. You can pray for protection for you and your family. You can speak and tell them the truth of what's really going on. It's like the frog being cooked. As long as they turn up the temperature just a little bit, the frog won't leap out of the pond. Frog won't leap out of the pot. So little by little, for the last 80, 90 years, they've been trying to poison us little by little because we left the farms and got industrialized. Back in the day, everybody had little gardens and stuff. Everybody had little gardens and lived near farms. And then, you got a lot of wild meat, which the word would be natural. Because I told you the wild honey when John the Baptist was out in out in the wilderness, which means out and away from the cities of liars and lying people, because Satan steals, kills, and destroys and lies. So as he was eating the sweet, unadulterated honey, the scripture may say wild honey, but it means pure, unadulterated. And spiritually speaking, because you got to read this book spiritually, it's the sweetness of the pure word, the pure truth of God. So he was getting truths from the Spirit, from the Lord, from the Spirit, in the wilderness, out away from the liars and the lies of the city. Now it said he was also eating locusts, but really spiritually, the truth was dissolving the lies within him. Just as I told you, Jesus had no lies within him, so he could not have died. Until it was allotted by the Father to allow the sins to be applicated to him physically, to his physical vessel, and spiritually to him. So he was the two, like there was two doves, two goats. So he's the two in the one. So he went into darkness. He went into outer darkness, if you want to call it that. He went in the bowels of the earth. And he came up victorious, resurrected, and brought forgiveness of the sin. So canceled out sin, canceled out the lies. Now in this time we all partake of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, of the lies and the liars. So we must not receive it anymore, which means when the thoughts come in or somebody else talks about it, do not entertain the lies from the liars. Go back, and if you need to, go back and reread, Proverbs. Go back and reread all the goodness of the Lord in the testimonies of the Lord. Old Testaments, New Testaments. The testimonies that God always comes out victorious, and he always fires the leadership, the bad leadership. They're taken out. So, we're right on the verge of taking out the bad leadership, the liars. And in that video I did a couple videos back, think of the word lies as locusts. So locusts can devour the whole crop. But what is the crop they're really trying to devour? It's us. We are the crop. CCP wants to take the crop down so they can take over America. They're going to blame it on Russia. So we are the crop. So the locusts are the lies that devour. So in that video I talked about, poke you full of holes, literally make you all minced up, make you perforated, spiritually speaking, so that you fall over dead or commit suicide. And that's why, like I said, the water and the food and all that. You're supposed to eat a high protein diet. And because if you look at people that are all hunched over and stuff when they get old, it's because they don't drink much water. Plus, they don't drink any good water. They don't drink good herbal teas. They drink coffee. They might drink soda. They hardly drink water. And they eat high carbs, high carbohydrates, very little protein, very little fruit or vegetable, and they don't have any herbal, botanical, mineral teas. Which one tea that grows naturally in your yard is clover, which is really healthy as a tea. So if you research, healthy plants, dandelions are real healthy for you. A lot of stuff is right in your yard. I mean, you can't. You said you can't. How could you starve in a garden? He said, Frederick, how could you starve in the middle of a garden? I thought, wow. If you're lied to, if you believe in the lies, you could starve. And what are you starving from? You're starving from the truth. The way, the truth, and the life. You're being starved out of commission. You're aborting the mission and you're aborting the commission. So the Word of God himself, Jesus, explains all this stuff because he is the Word, and brought all these words and allowed the lies, the liar words to come in. And now it's harvest time. So they're going to pull up the tares first and throw them on the fire to be burned on the fire. So you got to know who these liars are for them to be harvested, because I tell you, we are the crop. We, the people, are the crop. The good crop, the bad crop, the in-between crop. And right now you might be cropped really short. You might be pruned down to a stump like Nebuchadnezzar. Problem is, Nebuchadnezzar never entered in. Never entered in. So you got a lot of people who fight you for their lies. We're not fighting you for your lies. Keep your lies. We don't want them. We don't want any of your lies in here. We don't want any of your lies in here. No, So it's the same thing as rapture. Read all the scriptures that talk about being caught up. Jesus went up in clouds, which means clouds of witnesses. Well, clouds means Holy Ghost, smoke, fire by day, cloud by day, fire by night. He went up in clouds. He went up in clouds of witnesses, with clouds of witnesses. So we're caught up, never to be separated ever, ever, never, ever again. Never to be separated. So, like Enoch and Elijah. Like Enoch blinked in and out of time before he totally left this temporal time, because he did everything he could do. And there was no reason for him to stay anymore, because he did everything he was supposed to do. He pleased God so much that he didn't exist here in temporary time, corrupt time. Just as we talked about, the farther you go back in time, the bigger the number. Now, if you go back to Genesis, God said, Adam, where are you? Who told you were naked? And they said, the woman you gave. So Adam blamed it on the woman blamed it on the snake. So if you realize that everything went backwards, so if Adam was a responsible party, then he should have got sentenced first. But we're talking back in time where time was backwards, before the day and the hour is 2022, whatever time it is. Because Jesus stopped time, Jesus split time, just made time go clockwise. So you notice he sentenced the snake first. Then he sentenced the woman. And then he sentenced Adam, Lucifer. Talked about all the weeds in the garden. No, weeds, spiritually speaking, are lies and liars. But in a garden, the weeds sometimes grow a lot faster. Normally grow a lot faster, not sometimes, but normally grow a lot faster than the crop. So the weeds in the garden, the lies, and lies spread faster than the truth. If you do a bad thing, they'll tell normally 11 and a half people. If you do bad stuff. If you do good stuff, they might tell 1.5 persons that you were a good guy, a good priest, a good carpenter. So terrorists overtaken the garden, but not really. Right now, the lies and liars are in your face. They've always been there, but now they have to be uncovered. So what was once hidden has to come out in the light, has to be exposed. So people perish for lack of knowledge, for the exposure now. And then, like I said, they said there's zero inflation. Then they sign an inflation reduction bill. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, it's crazy out there. So don't watch TV. Or if you do, maybe watch the app called PureFlix. PureFlix. Watch some good wholesome movies. Maybe go to the Christmas movies and all that. What's the greeting card people? Hallmark Channel, something like that. Because you'll be steeped in muck and mire. You'll be depressed. The enemy sends out a spirit of oppression, and then as the people receive it, it turns into depression, which is anger turned inward. Cain murdered his brother. God says, if you do this, you'll be okay. But the enemy's crouching to stomp you if you don't. So the enemy's coming. So anger turns into hatred, turns into murder. So he was upset. He threw some crop out, for his offering. It wasn't a good offering. It wasn't a sincere offering. So then instead of doing better, he gets mad. His anger turned to hatred, and it turned to murder. So I believe it's in the New Testament. It says you can be angry, but sin not. Because you should be upset that the enemy's been poisoning us for a long time. But do not sin. Do not sin. Take it, say, God, what am I supposed to do? Jesus, what am I supposed to do with this? Because you need to pray. The least thing you can do is get on your knees and pray. Now, get on your knees and pray means humble yourself. So technically, thinking you don't have to get on your knees to pray. But the reason why it says knees is because it's a humble position to be on your knees and bow to the Most High God, Jesus and the Father. Bow. If my people will humble themselves and pray, I will heal their land. Now, we are the first earth, so we are the crop. And once we get rectified in forgiveness that Jesus brought, then we will. Jesus is transforming us as we speak, right in here, right now. Then the earth, thy kingdom will come on earth as in heaven. And if you go back and reread it, the first one says in earth. Thy kingdom comes in earth as in heaven. That's in us. The Spirit in us. Then as we go out and do what we're told, the Spirit will start enveloping the earth. So if I jump all the way to the future, the Spirit of God will envelope the earth in a spirit. And the enemy will no longer allowed to be work here and live here. He's bound for 1,000 years. And it says a great chain comes down from heaven. That means a chain of people who go to and fro to the throne room and back, the Jacob's ladders, the gates of heaven, go to and through from the throne room, getting the revelation to lock up the liar for 1,000 years, because we're not letting him lie anymore. Now, I'm just one guy, okay, but it has to be hundred thousands of us, 144,000 of us, minimally. 40,000 is an explosive point. When he told me, I said, what's the tipping point? He said 40,000. Jesus said 40,000. So minimally, if we had 40,000 people just telling the truth at this time, it'd make a domino effect for the people. And then the enemy's people, there's nothing that can be salvaged because of refiner's fire. So like I said, think about it as a pizza oven where you put it on the rollers. If you put JoJo on the pizza oven, Joey B, then nothing would come out the other side because he's so steeped in lies now. There's not even a spark left. And when there's no spark left, death comes. Saul, God lifted a couple fingers off of him, King Saul, to where he couldn't get a word from God anymore. And he started getting paranoid. He got more and more paranoid because of the lies from the liars. And then he goes and gets the witch Endor to conjure up Samuel for a word. So as God removes his spirit from you, even one finger, even a pinky, you start getting paranoid. And this is happening now. The spirit of fear that was unleashed in 2020 is now starting to consume many. Now they're consumed by doing stupid stuff. They're consumed by believing in the sorcery, the pharmakia. They're perishing for lack of knowledge because there's not enough people telling the truth. So, in the other video, I told you, boost your immune system. If you get depressed, a minor disease can become major and consume you. Then if you get a spirit of fear and get sick, anxiety will kill you. It'll cause heart palpitations or whatever. It'll over-dramatize the flu. So if you can't breathe very well, you can't when you have a cold and flu. And that's why Mama put Vicks on your chest, whatever, so you can at least survive, right? So instead of that, they're getting a spirit of fear, and they're being consumed very quickly that way. So, normally you don't go to the hospital unless you get pneumonia. You normally didn't go to the hospital for a flu or whatever. You went to a doctor, and they have bronchodilators. They have some that you can put in a vaporizer machine. And they have all these things that can help you get through it, walk through the plague. Walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall not want. The Lord forces me to lie down in green pastures. Forces me. Allow him. Don't make him force you. Allow him. Get rid of your spirit of fear now. God did not give you a spirit of fear, but a sound mind. So, love you all. Thanks for listening. God bless you. I'll be praying for you. Also pray for me and pray for everybody else that they get the word out now.